We're officially into March, the 1 month of the year when the most useless institution in America, outside of the White House, of course, but March is the 1 month when the most useless institution in America actually does something right. And I'm talking about the NCAA and March Madness. The NCAA, they can't seem to figure out college football. We talked about that on Monday. If you missed it, go check it out in the archives. College baseball, just never really been that popular. The NCAA, they can't seem to figure out swimming. They don't know if men should compete against women. Women should compete against fish. Non binary people should compete against worms. I believe worms are non binary too, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I never liked science. But when it comes to March Madness, the NCAA actually gets it right. March Madness is the crown jewel of college sports. It's something that brings all of us together. People fill out brackets and office pools. I compete in a giant March Madness pool every year. If any of you guys want to get into it, shoot me an email at btlkc84@gmail.com. Last year, I think we had around 400 entries. At $10 per entry, you do the math on the prize money. Sports bettors. Sports bettors enjoy March Madness, as do sports books. March is usually one of our most profitable months of the year. But the last couple of years, the mainstream media, they have attempted to shift the talking points around March Madness. In case you guys didn't know, the tournament is no longer the crown jewel. It's no longer about crowning the champion in college basketball. No, 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 no. It can't be that innocent. We can't allow people to actually enjoy something. We must equally spread our misery. The woke media has turned March Madness into a shining example of a lack of gender equity. There's that word again, equity, the great myth. If you're a believer in equity, I want you to shoot me an email too. I have some nice oceanfront property I'd like to sell you in Nebraska. I'll give you a good deal on it too. The house sits right on the woke ocean. You'll have a great view of drowning social justice warriors. Normal people like you and me, we see March Madness for what it is, a basketball tournament. When the media looks at March Madness, they see the unfair treatment of young women. They see all the toxic males receiving all the money while the women deal with what they like to call improper conditions. Sedona Prince is a forward for the Oregon Ducks. She could potentially be playing in the WNBA next year, which means she will go from playing in half-empty arenas in Eugene to playing in completely empty arenas in the WNBA. Sedona Prince is also a young propagandist, a promoter of equity. Who knows? Perhaps she will have a career in the media one day. Maybe CNN can pair her with Jamel Hill. They can call the show The Musings of Two Dumbasses. Last year, Sedona Prince took to social media to show us the difference in conditions between the men's facilities and the women's facilities for March Madness. Check it out.
I got something to show y'all. So for the NCAA March Madness, the biggest tournament in college basketball for women, this is our weight room. Let me show y'all the men's weight room. Now, when pictures of our weight room got released versus the men's, the NCAA came out with a statement saying that it wasn't money, it was space that was a problem. Let me show y'all something else. Here's our practice court, right? And then here's that weight room. And then here's all this extra space. If you aren't upset about this problem, then you're a part of it.
The NCAA is so stupid. If you're going to fight social justice warriors, you can't fight them with bullshit. You don't fight lies with lies, you fight lies with truth. The NCAA telling women they didn't have adequate space for a full weight room is like Joe Biden telling America last night that he wants to fund the police. His entire fucking platform during his basement campaign was police reform, defunding the police. Instead of sending police officers to domestic violence calls, we're going to send Dr. Phil. He will provide therapy while the husband goes to find his knife. Due to mounting political pressure, for the first time, the NCAA actually released their budget figures for the 2019 men's and women's basketball tournament. When these figures were released, the woke media immediately caught a chub. When most men get excited like this, they go to bed with their girlfriend or their wife. That's not how it works with social justice warriors. In the case of Stephen A. Smith, he catches a boner, he runs to find Max Kellerman. Leah Thomas pops an erection, she goes to find a knife to get rid of it. The NCAA's budget for the men's tournament was double the money that the women received. The difference was around $13.5 million. This is not fair. It is not equitable. No wonder the women can't draw an audience. They're not given the same money as the men. Have you guys ever noticed that these people believe money is the answer to everything? Money solves all problems. You could give the WNBA, you could give women's college basketball unlimited financial resources. They're still not going to draw even half the audience as the men. Why? What I'm about to say is not going to be popular with some of you, but the truth hurts. I'm not paid to lie to you. I'm here to give you the truth. If you want to be lied to, have someone tell you women's basketball doesn't draw an audience due to a lack of funding, there are plenty of people who will tell you that. Go watch one of them. If you want the truth, then stay right here. Money is not the problem. The majority of people, they don't watch women's basketball because it's boring. Money does not fix boring. An increase in funding, an increase in promotion doesn't make your game entertaining. It just makes you a well-funded shit show. The WWE has unlimited resources. They're still boring. It was more entertaining when Vince McMahon was struggling financially. I am sorry, ladies. When it comes to basketball, you're just not as entertaining as the men. That is not misogyny. That is not sexism. It's simply what is. It's the truth. If you don't believe me, look at the ratings. Last year, the men's championship game drew 17 million viewers. That is 7 million more than the fucking NBA finals. The women, 4 million. Do I need to calculate that math for you? Early round games for the women draw around 1 million viewers. Now, that would be a great number for the WNBA, but we're talking about funding for March Madness. We're not talking about charity, which is what the WNBA is. But let's keep going. This is not just about television ratings. In 2019, the men's tournament generated $865 million in revenue. They made damn near $1 billion in 4 weeks. Guess how much money the women made? If you've been following the channel for a while and have seen my numerous videos on the WNBA, you already know where I'm going here. The women's tournament lost nearly $3 million. Like the WNBA, women's college basketball is a charity. If this were a normal business, they would be going out of business. Let's look at attendance. 2019, the men drew 690,000 for their tournament. The women, 275,000. KC, that is not a fair comparison. The men are playing in major cities, NBA arenas. The women are stuck playing on college campuses during the early rounds of their tournament. Yeah, you know why? They don't fucking draw. You put a first round game of the women's tournament in Madison Square Garden, there will be more rats in the building than people. But have no fear. We at the NCAA, we hear your complaints. We are all about equity. We are making changes. The NCAA announced this week they are making significant changes to March Madness, all in the name of equity. They're balancing the budget between the men and the women, which means the women will go from losing nearly $3 million to losing $16 million. They're also going to start calling the women's tournament March Madness. There is only one March Madness, the men's tournament. Just because you call the women's tournament March Madness doesn't make it true. I could sit here and call Stephen A. Smith intelligent. Does that mean he's smart? I could call Leah Thomas a woman. Does that make it true? What if I call Jamel Hill a star? Does that mean people will suddenly listen to her podcast? No, no, and no. The NCAA, they have 5 championship tournaments that are profitable. Men's basketball, men's baseball, men's hockey, men's lacrosse, men's wrestling. The NCAA, they have no control over the college football playoff. But did you notice a trend there? What this means, men's athletics provides the funding for women's sports, which are money losers. The NCAA is also making other changes. They're yet to be announced, but I'm so excited for them. None of it will work. And it won't work because equity is not real. Gender equity, racial equity, I don't give a fuck what kind of equity you call it. It's a myth. And it's a myth because, contrary to woke media belief, we are not equal. I'll give you an example. Since we're all about equity here, let's make everything equal. I know Playboy is not nearly as popular as it used to be, but back in the 90s, every time Pamela Anderson was the Playboy centerfold, you must also feature a dude as the centerfold. One magazine, you have Pamela Anderson. The other, you have Anthony Anderson. Which one is going to sell more? We talked yesterday about the effects of equity in the WNBA. The league, more known for pushing equity propaganda than they're known for playing basketball. The ladies of the WNBA, they got exactly what they asked for. Equity. Everyone is equally miserable when it comes to travel. And that is the end result of equity. Misery. Equity is a fucking myth. I don't have a problem with women's sports. If they were entertaining, I would watch. If they were making money, I wouldn't be so critical. But you can't come to me complaining that the men are given more financial resources, claiming you deserve those same resources when the men are making billions and you're losing millions. Equity sounds real nice in the land of utopia. But I don't live in utopia. I live in reality. When you put equity into practice, it fails every time. Go ask the people of Venezuela about social equity. You want to know the end result of equity in college sports? Women's sports will cease to exist. So keep complaining, ladies. Eventually, you won't have a complaint box to file your complaint in. But let me know what you guys think. Should the women be given equal financial resources? Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.